Nick, what's up? Michael Haskey, hello. Let's go live, guys. Thank you for starting the show. Very nice.
Prepare yourself.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
Prepare yourself.
Turn the lights on.
Prepare yourself.
Okay. Are we focused? I hope we're focused. Seems a little blurry. That's okay. I'm all right. Thank you, everybody. That's okay. It's fine. It's just a little show. We'll talk when this is over. We'll talk in just a second. Uh-oh.
Fuck you, Michelle. Fuck me. Fuck me. Lying and dying is all that you read. All that's in from your mouth. Fuck you, fucking Levi's. Shut up your mouth and turns and fuck you. Shake up your loathsome little dick. Lying and saying good, cashing your chips. You still ain't whining, self-loathing hypocrite. Blame it on Rio, all the woman and Levi's. It starts with an F.
Hello! Trendy is Trendy Day reporting in live from Orlando, Florida, home of Trendy has service and all things trendy. You can find me and you, the hashtag Trendies on all phones and social media, especially on Rumble, the only social media platform that offers all of us free speech. If you're not watching from Rumble, you really should consider it. It's the Ox Project from Orlando, Florida. Oh, testy now. He seems upset. Well, we had a shock yesterday. My father died, and you're never ready for it, man. You think you are, but you never are, and It's a long story. I'm gonna make it really short. We had to call 911, and they were like, "What's your emergency? Is it fire, medical, or police?" And we said medical, but the police showed up anyway. So they came in. They walked right in the house. They didn't even ask. They just walked right in our home and started conducting an investigation into murder. And I was just like. I was so trying to deal with my father's death, and I was like, wow, you're investigating us for killing my father, really? Oh my God. I guess they have to do that every time there's a death, but you're just not prepared for that part of it. You never think that when you lose a loved one, somebody's going to come up to you and start asking you for your identification and where were you and what did you witness and all this shit. And you realize, oh my God, I'm literally being videotaped right now. They've got the body cameras on. Oh, yeah, Tula. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, you didn't know. I put it all over my social media. I put it on Nay's Garden at Twitter. I put it on my Facebook. I put it on, we went live on Rumble. You guys turn your notifications on Rumble. I'm so sorry that some of you missed the show. But I did tweet it, and I did win it, and I did put it on Facebook. I just wasn't going to go live on all the other YouTube channels. I told you guys to come over to Rumble and turn on the notifications and support me over there. And I told you why. I said that there's going to be times when we're only live on Rumble, like last night. I didn't want to go live on all my other channels. This was personal, and I only wanted the people who I consider, close to me, the people who actually want to support this show. And those are the people that are coming over to Rumble that really care. They know that's what really matters. And those are the people that, got to find out. But I'm telling all of you, again, I will say it again, join me on Rumble, follow along on Rumble, please, so you don't miss shit like that. Turn on your Rumble notifications, turn on your Twitter, follow me at Nate's Garden on Twitter, turn on your notifications. And, when I go live, you'll get notified. I know those Rumble notifications don't always go out, but last night there were plenty of people showed up. So I'm assuming they did go out. Thank you, Tula. Just showing up to the show, man. Come on over to Rumble, Tula. I'd like to see you on Rumble. That's what I'd like everyone to do, is just come watch on Rumble. And let me know why you're not watching on Rumble. Let me know why you guys decide to not watch from Rumble. And, because I'm telling you, like last night, I didn't broadcast to any other channel but Rumble. I really need all of you to be watching from Rumble. And if you just picked up your Rumble app last night and looked at it, you would have seen I was live. We were live for a while. So, please, man, join us over there. Free speech. Free speech. That's it. Free speech. Rumble. Free speech. Say what I want. Do what I want. The only place that lets me do it. And that's not, obviously now that's not the only reason we're over on Rumble. Obviously now So, please, 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 please consider joining us over there. There, I gave you guys a link. Glad you got off with the murders. Well, the thing is, I didn't murder anybody. That's it. I got investigated for it, but I didn't murder anybody. So nothing to get off on, but yes, thank you, Winnet. At least I didn't get hauled off to jail. But boy, they really do an investigation. They want to see all the medications. They want to know the status. They want to talk to they want to see the DNR, and they want to take pictures of it, and they need to call these people and call the doctor. And man, the police were really involved. And 5 times the police offered us mental assistance if we needed. And I was very appreciative of that. They 5 separate times they asked us, if you need any support at all, we're here for you. And I was just amazed to hear police saying that to me. Yeah, I was impressed. Thank you, Michael. She's doing good. She's doing good. We had a nice breakfast. Deb went and picked us up breakfast this morning. And, Deb was here with me the whole time, and she's amazing and, very supportive. And, yeah. Someday, not soon, but someday, I will tell you the story of what happened last night. All right? I will tell you guys what happened. It is a whole thing. But not today. All right, so let me get on this dab. And, it was interesting. I was watching Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate talk about what's going on in Israel, Gaza right now. It was an interesting discussion. And I have a lot of mental notes that I made while listening to it. I was like, well, I might disagree with that or blah, 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 or things like that. But it was still interesting to hear. Talking about the rape stories and stuff that's coming out and saying that most of it, there's one incident that they know of and everyone's trying to make it sound like there's thousands, and what they're saying is there's no physical evidence of any of this at all. And then they said the bodies get buried the day after and they don't do forensics and they didn't check for DNA samples or anything. But now these stories are coming out with no evidence and they make really good points. Still being in California. Oh my goodness, Tula. No, I'm so glad I was home. And, you know, my cousins came over yesterday and they made the comment. They were like, no regrets. We're so glad you were here. We are so glad you were here with your mom while this happened. Yeah. Dig through the cannabis. Glad they remain cordial. Oh, no. They didn't even show any interest in this podcast studio at all, bro. No. And they were here for hours. And they were not. They weren't here investigating drug use, that's for sure. No. No, they did their job. The two guys, they were so professional. They were so nice. And they just did their jobs. And they were supportive. And they had to do it. You know, they had to ask us what we did and if what we knew and blah, blah, blah. And it was a little weird, but they got to do that shit. And I understand now. I didn't understand it yesterday while it was happening. It's just my brain was so scrambled, and then I got to get back and step away from it and look at it and go, oh, those guys are just, hey, Bitter, they're just doing their job, you know? They're just doing their job. And they did a good job, you know? Oh, was I supposed to put butane in this? Oops. Nick says protocol. Yeah. And they're being videotaped, and they better do what they got to do, you know. So we're all on camera the whole time. After the amputation, yeah, he did well. You know, he was almost fully recovered from that. But the last 2 weeks he's been sick with a bronchial cough and phlegm, and then he got over that, and he was fine for like 2 or 3 days. I mean, he was fine. And then all of a sudden, man, he just goes into a seizure, you know, where he just froze up, and that was it. He never came out of it. So now, this is hard to talk about, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's what I do on this show. Is seeing him every day and seeing my mom suffering every day, it kind of takes up residence in your head. And for the longest time, it's really all I could see of my father was his current state. I would look at pictures of him and movies and whatever, but then I'd just see him sitting there, you know? So, let's do 15 minutes in, guys. So, after he died last night, I noticed, you know, there's pictures of him around and photo albums and things like that. And I started looking at them. And it was as if all of the memories started coming back. And I can finally start remembering him as I want to remember him. I know that sounds crazy and weird. Some of you totally understand what I'm talking about. Thank you. For those of you who understand that. For those of you who don't understand that, I hope you never have to deal with this ever in your lives. It was traumatic. And, you know, imagine my mom. But man, you know, it's like all the memories of him now, and I can remember so much now, and it's more coming back. And I feel a little guilty about it, but at the same time, it's a good feeling, you know, to have those memories come back. You're with me, Michael Haskey. Thank you. Thank you, Tula. Thank you, guys. What we say, 1,500? Where are we at? Oh, we're late. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining. It's a hard show today. I've got smoke rings on a sunny day. Okay, thank you, Tool. I can't wait. Thank you, because I miss seeing you here in the shows, man. Thank you for popping in. Thank you so much. Let's turn up that waterfall sound, huh? If we can. Where's my audio for the waterfall? Oh, here it is. Beautiful outside, man. Holy moly. Where's Dave Campione at? He knows it's beautiful outside. Hippie Chick knows it's beautiful outside. Yeah, so I smoked last night, because sometimes when I'm feeling bad, I smoke and it makes me feel better. So we came in, and Chuckles and Cyber were in Discord. So, both of my friends, my dear friends, Chuckles and Cyber, both lost their fathers when we were friends. Cyber lost his a few years ago, and Chuckles was more like 15 years ago. But I was, friends with both of them when it happened, and I remember experiencing them go through it. And it was nice that I got into Discord last night, and it just so happened that both of them were sitting there in Discord together. So we smoked with Deb, and chatted for a while. I told them, what had happened, what transpired, and everything. And then I think after that we went live. I think we went live on Rumble. Yeah. Just on Rumble. So make sure you turn on those Rumble notifications, guys. It's getting close to that time where I will only be broadcasting from Rumble. It's getting close to that time. What's going on here? Where is the Rumble chat? Huh. The Rumble chat's not showing up. There it is. Wow. It worked, huh? Cool. Okay, and then what's this? That's Discord. That's Discord. Get rid of that. So, let me go back to the waterfall video. Let's rewind that. It's nice, and there's less sun glare at the beginning of the video. Don Juan 916. Yes, I am back in Orlando, Florida. I've been here now for over a year and a half. I lost track of time. It's going to be 2 years in March, I believe. God, 2 years in March, man. I will have been in Orlando, Florida for 2 years. God damn, man. And California seems so long ago now to me. It really does. We've been through a lot. in the little 2 years I've been here. It's just... Much love. Don Juan 916, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Don Juan 916, will you do me a favor, Don Juan 916? Please consider downloading the Rumble app onto your phone. Also, if you're on a computer, go to rumble.com/user/Nays Garden. Make an account, they'll send you an email, email them back to activate your account, and then come to Nays Garden on Rumble. Click follow and click a thumbs up for me too. And will everybody else please do that while you're here? Please remember to follow the channel and also give me a thumbs up right now and try to get me over 10 thumbs ups. That might help get more notifications to go out to my audience members. I've got 826 followers on Rumble. So, maybe it'll tell 20 or 30 people. And maybe out of those, 3 or 4 people will show up. But hey, let's do it. Right? Bottom of the hour. Bottom of the hour. Yeah, man. Deadpool. Deadpool, what's up, man? Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year, guys. I lost my father last night, 91 years old, guys. He lived an incredible life, was an incredible man. He touched so many people, and so many of my friends, they all said he was a great man. He was a great man. Over and over and over again. I kept hearing that over and over and over again. That's how you want to be remembered, right? So, it's a new year, right? And I'm sad, and you can be sad with me, but I'm not going to let that ruin New Year's and the cheer and the happiness, Thank you so much, Deadpool. Thank you. Yeah, Tula, right? 91, right? Yeah. Right. So, did I say dab? I think I did. Dabby, dabby, dabby. I'm going to jinx myself here and say I haven't seen a bear in a while. Are you kidding me, Billy? I was live on the show. Shirley Ann, the woman that works for us, she brought my father in. And she said she was very concerned because he was in this seizure state and she didn't know what to do. And so I called my mom and I go, Mom, and because he was alive and breathing, but he just was completely unresponsive. I called her in and she said this happens to him and there's nothing we can do. But my mom knew. My mom knew. She looked at us and said, if anything happens, don't touch him. He has a DNR. Do not touch him. She knew. And he was alive and breathing. is she went back to go watch TV, and I came in here, and I thought he's going to pop out of it because he's done this before, you know, and he was hot. So we were live, and I can't remember why I got up. We were live. I can't remember how many minutes I was live for. And for some reason, man, I fucking got up. And Shirley Ann was sitting there next to my father. And my father was in the exact same position that he was. And he had not moved. And I touched him, and he was cold. So I knew. I came back here. I asked how many of you guys were still watching. Give me a 1 in the chat right now. 3 of you hit 1. I said, I gotta go. So I killed the show. Cyber was still in Discord, and I told Cyber what happened. And he was like, no. He was like, I don't know what to say, bro. He's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. And, oh my God, I got up because Deborah had come through. That's why I got up. So, and then the rest of the story, you know, I'll tell you another time. But that's during the show, you know, and he was 20 feet away from me. 30 feet away, maybe. I can't remember. God, you know, I can't remember exactly what happened at that point. This is so crazy. At that, I mean, I remember a lot, but there's a lot that I don't remember. My brain went into a complete haze at that point. God, man. So, it's sad that my mom had to deal with this for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. It's been a long time. It's painful, man, and it's horrible. And what I said was, if my father knew that this was how it was going to be for my mom, my father would have taken himself and taken care of it himself. When he had the opportunity to. But you just don't know. You don't realize that this is what's going to happen, you know? And for her, man, it's just been a long, painful journey. God, man. And it is going to be, man, oh my God. The next few days are going to be crazy. We've got, you know, all kinds of relatives are coming in. And I went, yeah. Deb says I went into shock. Yeah, I did. I was totally in shock. "32 minutes. Facebook user. Hey, Hutch, what's up? Facebook user, tell me who you are. I don't know who you are. It just says Facebook user. Hutch, what's up? When's the trial? Orbs, what's up? Luckily, there won't be a trial. Dekine. Thank you, Dekine. Shane, thank you. Thank you so much for the condolences. I appreciate that so much. I already have early onset. I left my car idling for 15 hours last month, then left the sprinklers on for 48 hours. I've done stupid shit like that too. Cheers, everybody. I'm so late. Oh, we're Facebook friends? Hutch, thank you. Thank you, Deadpool. Better late than never, says Hutch. Hey, you're not that late. I don't think you're late. Let's find some interesting content to cover, shall we? Let me see what I got here. Okay, I watched that. Insane Ray Epps debate. 3 hours and 11 minutes. So, the assumption what the fuck, dude? Oh. God damn it. Someone. Well, I was going to get into this, but then I got interrupted by something that was, it just really aggravated me just now. So, dude, what the fuck, dude? When you click mute conversation and it doesn't fucking mute, what the fuck? Really? Jesus fucking Christ, man. It's fucking abusive. You know? It's fucking abusive. I swear to Christ. Dude. Anyway. So the right-wing narrative is, the Donald Trump supporting narrative is that Ray Epps was a federal agent. He was an agent working for the feds. And he's the one that did January 6th. It was Ray Epps, the one dude screaming in the street like an idiot that everyone was calling a Fed. You're a Fed, fuck you. He's like, let's go to the Capitol. They're like, no, fuck you. Fed. Yeah, that's the guy that everybody followed? I don't think so. Didn't sound like they were following him. It sounded like they were calling him a Fed and telling him to go fuck off. So that's the Ray Epps I'm aware of. And I'm also aware it was Donald Trump who was the one that sent all the people down to the Capitol to defend Donald Trump for something that Donald Trump wanted, because Donald Trump lost the fucking election like a fucking big fat pussy. So it was Donald fucking Trump. Right? It wasn't Ray Epps. But it looks like Destiny spent 2 hours debating this, and I just gotta hear this. I'm sorry. I'm so curious. Like, I wonder what side he's on, and I'm just so curious.
You You're trying to sell me a story that this 60-year-old boomer guy whipped up more people to break into the Capitol than the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who has spent the last 4 years winding people
Oh, so Destiny and I agree.
to believe the election was going to be rigged and stolen, knew people in his crowd had weapons, sent them to march on the Capitol to protest. Your first argument was, well, he was telling them to go there, they were going to vote them out, even though he was sending them there because he said all the elections were rigged, which doesn't make any sense. You're trying to tell me that this guy had a greater responsibility for the invasion of the Capitol than Donald Trump?
For millions of consumers of conservative news, Ray Epps is a notorious villain, a provocateur responsible for turning peaceful protests on January 6th into a violent assault on the U.S. Capitol. The irony is that Epps was a passionate supporter of President Trump.
I don't get the
Who went to Washington
irony,
to
but I
protest
guess
the
I'm an
2020
idiot.
election. But his often contradictory behavior that day spawned a full-fledged conspiracy theory, casting him...
I don't get the irony, but I guess I'm an idiot.
Today, Epps is in hiding after death threats forced him to sell his home.
As soon as President Trump is finished speaking, we are going to the Capitol. It's that direction.
At 6'4" in his desert camouflage bright red Trump hat and military-style backpack, Ray Epps stood out from the crowd on January 6th. That's him running toward the U.S. Capitol alongside the vanguard of rioters who first attacked and overran police. What do you think when you see this now?
It brings back some bad memories. It's hard to see our Capitol under attack.
It's been more than 2 years since the storming of the Capitol, but Ray and his wife Robin told us they relive January 6th every day of their lives.
Some people have said, well, just let it go and let it die down.
It doesn't.
What they don't understand is it doesn't.
What exactly was the
That was the FBI assigned Grand MILF wife, by the way. That was his reward.
Said, well, just let it go and let it die down.
It doesn't.
What they don't understand is it doesn't.
What exactly was the role of Ray Epps in the chaos of January 6th?
The theory...
Thank you, Facebook user. Sorry for your loss. Thank you, Hutch. Billy, I've been through this a lot. Death's always on my table. There's nothing I can say to fix anything at all. Thanks, Billy. Tula supporting. Thank you, Tula. Call the YouTube people a cunt.
Epps, a former member of the Oath Keepers.
Wait, does Tucker Carlson do this too? Does he have different evidence? Carlson Ray Epps.
Was an FBI informant who incited the crowd on January 6th, bubbled up from a right-wing news site called Revolver News, run by a former Trump speechwriter,
He's the smoking gun of the entire Fedsurrection.
and landed on Fox News primetime.
According to a new investigation from Revolver, Epps may have led the breach team that first entered the Capitol on January 6th.
The convoluted conspiracy theory made its way to Capitol Hill.
It's not the Proud Boys who engaged in the initial breach. It's Ray Epps at that precise moment.
How did Ray Epps know that?
Wait, did the... Bro, I stopped following the J6 show because I was just exhausted. How did I... It got this popular?
There were going to be pipe bombs. Miss Edburn, who is Ray Epps?
That question has animated Fox News host Tucker Carlson for nearly 2 years.
Ray Epps? He's on video several times encouraging crimes, riots, breaches of the Capitol.
Carlson has focused on Epps more than 20 times on his top-rated show, a half dozen times so far this year.
He's obsessed with me. He's going to any means possible to destroy my life and our lives.
Why?
To shift blame on somebody else. If you look at it, Fox News, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz, Gates, they're all telling us before this thing that it was stolen. So you tell me, who has more impact on people, them or me?
Epps, once a loyal Fox News watcher, told us he doesn't understand how he got cast as the villain. The Epps version is more mundane. They believed the 2020 election had been stolen from Donald Trump and considered January 6th a legitimate protest.
It was a sloppy election. And then to top that off, you have talking heads reporting that there's problems with the voting machines and different things like that.
Counter narrative. Boomer guy who believed that Trump genuinely thought the election was stolen, so he showed up to protest in the Capitol, but wanted things to remain peaceful.
The election's stolen. So yeah, we had concerns. I wanted to be there. I wanted to witness this with my own eyes.
Epps went to Washington with his 36-year-old son and almost immediately stepped into trouble. The conspiracy theory starts here, the night of January 5th.
Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Okay?
On the streets of D.C., tensions were running high at a pro-Trump rally, being live-streamed on the internet. The Marine veteran tried to take charge.
So I'm going to put it out there. I'm probably going to go to jail Thursday. Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol.
No. No. Fed.
Some in the crowd have
There you
seen
go.
Real quick, what was the big thing that Tucker Carlson was gonna like blow
Right.
the
So
lid off of?
let me
Then
just
he
stop
said, like,
right there. That's the video right there, everybody. That's Ray Epps convincing the whole crowd to go to the Capitol. They're all like, Fed. No.
Lost the documents in the mail. Was this
Hey,
was
Dave.
this Hunter Biden? Shit?
Nice
This
weather
way
out.
Before that, what am I thinking of here? Was it the laptop or was it Fox News? As Tucker Carlson mocked for lost in mail Biden documents claim. UPS has now confirmed that a package sent by Fox News was lost, but has since been found. Has been mocked for his attempt to explain why he could not produce documents.
Should we
he
get up?
promised relating
Should we
Joe
go up to
Biden,
the debate?
like some kind of conspiracy. Carlson said the only copy of the papers which he alleged
Wait, let me
added
just
to
see.
Things. I want to explain that, you know, I'm not a constitutional scholar. I'm not a lawyer. And so I'm looking at this from, you know, all the research and everything I am able to gather. And I'm honestly just interested in getting to the truth here. And I think there's a lot of points that never get discussed in our, you know.
Sure. Wait, before we get into that, can you, just so people know who you are and where to find you, can you introduce yourself and let people
Yeah, this is, I'm Drone Tech. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm on Twitter. Or X, sorry. And
No,
yeah, I
it's
just basically
Twitter,
talk
you
about
fucking
media bias.
pussy.
I try to add a little humor into it. And
Fucking piss me
a
off.
big topic I like to talk about is the two-tiered partisan system of standards. You know, I'm not necessarily talking about justice system, but that does come into it. And I kind of look at this entire thing through that lens of, and like I said, you and Rob did get into this a little bit. And I'd like to just further get into it if possible.
Yeah, sure.
So, I basically, I don't think that Trump incited or planned a riot. I don't think there was an insurrection. And I have a couple, I think, factual points that at the very least raise some reasonable suspicion that, you know, that there was some other cause for the actual riot than Trump.
Okay.
Bullshit. Stop the steal. Trump spoke there. Trump said he was going to go there. Trump told everyone else to go there. This was planned in advance. Trump lost the election. There's a lot of facts you have to ignore to make that statement. It's hilarious.
So, first of all,
You guys that believe and subscribe to that bullshit, you guys are fucking delusional, weak-minded pussies. Think for yourselves for once, people.
well, just so we can kind of set a standard here, do you agree with the, you know, mostly peaceful narrative that we heard through like 2015 and 2020 as far as like the Democrat riots?
For like BLM?
Well, yeah, just, I mean, it was a mixture of like BLM, you know, Antifa, regular Democrat voters.
Yeah, I think they were mostly peaceful protests, yeah.
Okay. And so, like, based on, like, what criteria would you say that it's mostly peaceful? Just on the number of people rioting versus the number of peaceful?
I saw that number a lot. 93% of protests didn't have any violence or like charges or anything
Right.
involved. That
Yeah,
number could be
although-
wrong. I just read that number a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
93%.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
So
talking about. I'm
let's
not
just stop
really
right here.
sure.
No. 93%. Destiny wins that point. You need to accept it. He just beat you. So now what's your response? I can't wait to hear the response here.
I'm not sure how legitimate that is. That sounds a little weird to me, but so do you know how many people were at the Capitol on January 6th? How many protesters?
I don't know, 40,000 or 50,000
Thousands,
or
yeah.
something. I'm not
There
sure.
were thousands
No,
of
it was
people.
over 120,000.
Oh, okay, over
It was
120,000.
a lot of people there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so do you know the actual number of people charged with violence?
With violence,
Yeah.
My guess
with
is
actual,
maybe-
like, violent actions.
probably like less than 50. Do I guess?
Well, no, it's actually more than that. It was
93%
around,
of all
372,
statistics are
I
pulled
wanna
out of
say is the
somebody's
exact
ass.
Number, 372 people.
Okay. Does
And
that
then
include, when you say
there's, like-
violence, does that include like breaking and entering and like obstruction stuff, or is this like actually attacking?
No,
officers and stuff?
that's a separate thing. So that would be like obstructing officers, attacking officers, you know, that sort of thing.
Okay, so over.
So it's about 372 people. All right.
Okay.
So and then you got another like around 300 who that was like the public or the government property destruction, and then you had the largest percentage are like trespassing and obstruction of government operations or whatever.
Okay.
And so when you look at that, it's kind of weird to me that there's
Down on
such
planes.
this heavy focus on this relatively small group of people that got violent compared to the gigantic group of people who didn't, right? And you go back to the speech that Trump gave. He told people to march peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard, and he also emphasized that, hey, we want to promote voting out these Republicans.
No, what he said is we're going to stop the steal, and that Mike Pence is not doing his job
To go along with this stolen election, okay, and like the whole idea being, use democracy, go out there, protest peacefully, and then vote against these Republicans. So there was never any call to like violence or anything. People.
Yes, there was. There was a call to action, and the call to action was we're going to stop the steal. So there absolutely was. Now, if I was there, I would tell Destiny that. Totally.
He talked about fight. You got to fight and all this. Democrats use that sort of heated political rhetoric all the time. So I don't think you can point to that. And when you just look at the discrepancy between the number of people who actually got violent compared to the larger group, I don't see how you can blame Trump, number one, because wouldn't a much larger amount of people have done something like that if it was actually him telling them to do that? What do you think?
Maybe. I'm waiting for you to do your whole thing, and then I'll do my.
Okay, well,
and so
yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. And so then you would have to ask, so who incited it, or who caused that? And I think that's a big question that has to be discussed: is what actually set off the violence? Okay, and there are a lot of legitimate questions around that, having to do with Capitol Police. We have videos of the police removing barricades.
God, he just put this on.
Them in.
He just put this video on.
And I think this is the biggest. What should be focused on the most is Ray Epps. I think Ray Epps is way more important than what the media.
Yeah, why? Because people were calling him a Fed and acting like he was some kind of a fucking crazy person, and saying no to his pleas and ignoring him. So let's because we've already seen the evidence.
And the Democrats want us all to believe, because I mean, look at some of the charges handed down, like the QAnon shaman, who was literally just like escorted around. Police tried to open doors for him to get in, and then led him into the main hall there. And then he got, later arrested and got a pretty, what was he in for, like 3 months or something?
He's not.
And then
no, he's not.
You got guys like Ray Epps who are on video for multiple days telling people to enter the Capitol, and he stormed the Capitol.
Destiny's not 100% keeping it real all the time. That's for sure. He's not. So, he's close though, and him and I agree on a lot of things, and he has a good way of investigating stuff and explaining.
The main hall there, and then he got, later arrested and got a pretty, what was he in for, like 3 months or something? And then you got guys like Ray Epps who are on video for multiple days telling people to enter the Capitol, and literally stormed the Capitol. He was there the night before and the day of. And to me, and he was at the front, and he admitted to orchestrating it. Okay, all of this, and yet, despite that, he gets treated as a victim and a conspiracy theory. The Democrats defend him, the media defends him, and try to paint him as like this, oh, he's a poor victim of Trump supporters. It's kind of weird. I mean, don't you think that he later
it's kind of weird. That's his argument.
Gets this misdemeanor charge.
That's a great argument. It's kind of weird.
People like me and Tucker Carlson, all kinds of people are like, what's going on with this guy? So then he gets this slap on
what's
the wrist.
Going on? That's science.
It's not going to include jail time or anything.
What's going on with this guy? Science.
It's obviously done for the cameras. And so you got to ask, what's that about? To me,
what's that about? More science.
He could easily have incited and gathered and orchestrated the number of people who actually got violent. And so my whole thing is like the entire predicate that Trump, launched an attack and insurrection on the Capitol. It's totally, there is more than enough reasonable suspicion to question that, especially the fact that the media does not focus on the mostly peaceful at all. I remember when it was happening, like maybe the next day, I saw an ABC report or something where the guy literally said it was mostly peaceful. That was it. I heard it that one time and never since. And you got to ask, why are they not focused? Why are they so focused on this small group, but they completely ignore all these other people? And why do they ignore Ray Epps? Well, if Ray Epps incited them, you can't blame Trump, right?
Okay.
So that's for now. Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha. Okay. So, before we start, how committed are you to this position on a scale from 1 to 10? You're like 10, you're absolutely sure, or you're like 1, like I'm not really.
Probably like a 7.
Okay.
Probably like a 7. I'm open to being wrong.
Okay, gotcha.
But these are unanswered questions that nobody addresses. It's weird.
I disagree. I think there are answers to every single question you asked.
Okay, cool. I can't wait to hear.
Here's my macro perspective. This is what I feel like.
The macro.
I feel like,
we're doing the
Trump,
macro.
through his continual undermining of the electoral process for years, he even did it when he ran against Hillary, but for years leading up to the process was saying the election was going to be stolen, mail-in ballots are rigged, and then during the actual election and then afterwards, leading up to January 6th, he was repeating false claims that everybody in his inner circle told him were not true, relating to the Pennsylvania stuff, relating to the Georgia stuff, that there were stacks of ballots, that there were boxes brought in, that people in his inner circle were telling him over and over again, this isn't true, he kept repeating it. And then on the day of, on January 6th, when he went to give his speech, he told people that they're stealing the election from you, they're stealing your country, we need to go march on Capitol Hill and protest about it. And he knew people in his crowd had guns and weapons, and he wanted to go with them to march onto the Capitol for that protest. My question, I guess, to you for the first part of this, what do you think he wanted them to protest? What was the goal of that protest?
42,551.
Well, he like I said, he actually did specifically go into, I want you to go out there, protest, and promote this idea that we're going to vote out these Republicans who go along with the election.
Dave
so you
C., thanks, bro.
legitimately believe in your heart of hearts that Trump was saying, we need to go to the Capitol building today where they're certifying the election and protest
98% of my finances are in future tense.
Right, absolutely. Just to
Did
protest
you see
what
the Epstein and Bill Gates update?
Election. A lot of people believed it. And I'm not
No,
saying
Tula, I didn't see that.
President Trump, and you just told all of your followers for years
I didn't see January
that
6th
elections
coming.
are
Wow,
rigged.
just sorry,
Why would you go into a protest
Dave Campione, thank
threatening
you.
to vote in rigged elections?
Right. I mean, but okay, fine. That is an irony there, but it's not an irony without precedent because, and I heard you guys dip into this. And
stop
and
the
it's another thing I
steal.
wanna get into, but Hillary Clinton. Okay, Hillary Clinton.
He
did
said,
the
we're
exact same
going
thing.
to stop
She
the
said,
steal.
actually,
We're going to
right,
march
Trump
down to the
started that. She came
Capitol.
out, she's like, oh, that's
and
an attack on democracy. He's attacking our institutions. Right? She said that. But then what happened? She lost the election, and then she said it was illegitimate, and she attacked the process. And then Democrats went on for, I don't know if you remember, but they had hearings for months about the voting machines, and they were going on and on about how hackable the voting machines are, implying that that's what happened here. The Russians hacked, somehow got into the voting machines, changed the votes, and stole the election.
The votes.
Okay, and
Hillary
I heard
Clinton,
you say,
to be clear, real quick.
Hold on, real quick. You said Hillary Clinton during the debate with Rob, and you said that she did it one time. No, she did it multiple times. And just like you said that Trump had this history, Hillary Clinton has a history. She back in 2000, she made a big deal about the election being illegitimate and stolen. She did the same thing in 2005, and then the same thing in 2016.
Okay, so Hillary Clinton conceded the election the night of, number one.
Okay, yeah.
She did,
sort
right?
of.
Trump didn't, right? What do you mean, sort of? Wait,
officially, yes.
Yeah, so Hillary Clinton officially conceded the election.
And then she went bitched and complained and pissed and moaned about it.
Donald Trump tried to claim that he won before the votes were counted, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty substantial difference, right?
Well, I would say
isn't in and of itself like pretty
I would
horrible?
say it's a difference. I would say yeah,
somebody try to claim that they've won an election before the votes are counted. Isn't that pretty anti-democratic? Isn't that probably one of the worst things you could do as president?
I don't know about anti-democratic. I mean, it's just free speech, and I'm not sure that hasn't been done before.
It's freedom of speech to say, I'm going to win the election, we need to stop the count, and I don't want all the votes counted. You think that's just freedom of speech? You don't think that's a little anti-democratic?
Well, I mean, yeah, but in principle, it's anti-democratic, yeah. Okay. But that obviously never happened, though, right?
I'm not talking about what happened. I'm talking about what Trump tried to do or what Trump said. What Trump said was anti-democratic. We should stop counting the votes, right?
God, we never found that January 6th video.
Election, so I think that's a pretty substantial difference.
Right, but when you say that, like she conceded the election.
Oh, that must have been
officially. But what else did she do?
Deb
she
showed
also
up.
launched the whole, Russian collusion thing, which was the campaign, Hillary campaign, hatched that scheme, which the FBI knew about, and yet went along with it anyway. So after she lost, she officially concedes, and then the whole Russian collusion thing comes on, and the lead investigator of that just happens to be the guy that was the lead investigator against her, who was also a supporter, who was also
a lifelong Republican as well, appointed by a Republican and has been a Republican and continues to be to this day, right?
No, I don't think so. He's a big Hillary supporter, so
Call me
don't know about that.
Comey is not a lifelong Republican?
No, not Comey. I'm talking about Peter Strzok, the lead investigator of Hillary Clinton, who went through. What did he do? He went and changed the wording of her charges to basically so she could dodge any prosecution. Basically he downgraded the severity of what she was being accused of, and so that basically saved her.
I don't know if that's true, but also I don't want to do it. I know that every single that's fine, but I don't know why every single conversation about Donald Trump somehow always leads back to Hillary Clinton's emails.
Well, I explained it at the beginning.
Sure, so
I'm
let's
looking
back
at
up.
this through the lens of consistent standards.
Sure, I'm not. Well, we could get into consistent standards, but first we need to even see what Trump's done, because I can't get conservatives to admit that Trump's even done a bad thing. It's shocking to me that it took you like 3 tries to even admit that Donald Trump trying to claim he won the election before the votes were counted isn't clearly an anti-democratic thing. That's a really bad thing. President should never be trying to, right? That should be an easy, like, yeah, that's bad, right? We should easily be able to say
I did say it. I did say it's bad, but I also said that this is a bad that Democrats had already set a precedent for doing. They already set the standard that this is okay to do.
Pedro Madrano,
No
same to you, my friend. Happy New Year. I love you, bro.
Lost immediately.
Thank you, brother. I love you.
Claim that the election was rigged, that the voting machines and everything else were
Absolutely.
rigged.
They did that in 2016.
Okay.
They had hearings where they said that for months.
Had hearings. That's different than like, I'm going to just declare myself the winner. You're allowed to have your day in court. Donald Trump had all of his days in court. Everybody's allowed to pursue their thing in court. That's different than trying to circumvent the process and declare yourself
but he
the
can never
leader.
circumvent it. Well, he can never circumvent it simply by saying it. I mean, it would always end up in a court. Right?
Sure, we're getting there. Yeah, but
Pedro. Yeah, man. So, I don't know if you heard that my father died last night. 91 years old. He died peacefully, right here, sitting a few feet away from me. Okay. He said, hope all is well with the family. I just want to make sure you knew. Yeah, I thought you had sent condolences on Facebook. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. 91 years. He's a great man. Anyway, this is an interesting Ray Epps debate. I just wonder if he's going to get more into actual Ray Epps. Hoot and howl. Aw, that's very nice of you to say. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I really appreciate that, man.
okay, so back in what?
I never
No,
mourn
you're
them. I
talking
always
about the
say
charges
celebrate their lives.
against him now,
Exactly.
saying that.
Exactly,
I'm
Pedro.
just trying to
Exactly.
establish like some ground
Remember
rules
him in
of,
his
like,
all
what
of
is
his
happening
greatness
so that
and
we're
glory,
in
bro.
the same world. Okay, so when Donald Trump is telling you that the election is stolen, the voting is rigged, they've rigged it in all these different states, and then we're going to go to the Capitol, we're going to fight like hell, we're going to take our country back, they're stealing the election from you. Why would anybody there think that the protest is that we're going to threaten to vote even harder when you've told these people that voting doesn't work?
Well, I mean, okay, so Democrats have done
Right
the
on,
exact
bro.
same thing.
Why are we
So
talking about
I don't
Democrats?
really
I'm just
care.
asking about
Right,
Donald
I don't
Trump.
care.
Well, if you don't care, then just admit it. Then
I
just say, like,
Pedro,
yeah,
I
no,
might
we're
not
going
be
there
able to
probably
do that,
try
but
to
thank you
circumvent
so
the electoral
much.
process. That was the goal.
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
Oh,
that.
okay,
I'm saying
then I
that-
just want to know what
No,
you think they were
I'm saying that-
protesting.
No, I'm saying the hypocrisy of that, the
I don't
irony
care
of
about the
saying
hypocrisy.
both
I'm not here to
things.
whataboutism.
I don't care about that.
So you don't. So do you? But do you
Okay,
agree
you too, bro. Happy
when
New
Donald
Year.
Trump was sending those people to protest, it wasn't to go vote harder. They were trying to delay the certification of the election. That was the goal. That was what Donald Trump wanted them to do.
He never said to do that. You're saying it like subliminally he wanted them to do that.
I'm not
He never
saying
said that. He
simplicity.
said march peacefully, make your voices
He
heard,
said that
and vote the
Mike,
Republicans
we want
out.
that.
That's what he said.
He said that Mike Pence was the sole guy that can save us, and he said we need to go to the Capitol and make our voices heard, and we need to fight to take our democracy back. He didn't say we need to go down and circumvent the electoral
572,
process to prevent
guys.
He didn't say that exactly, sure,
Right.
but like.
Well, he said,
But clear, it's pretty obvious, like what they're going down to.
well, if it's
protest
so
for, right?
obvious, if it's so obvious, why didn't more than a handful of people actually attempt to do that? If that's actually what occurred, and not just like a spark of violence that, took off.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know how big is the. I mean, what, like 2,000 some people went into the Capitol. I don't even know if there was enough room for everybody to participate. like I don't know if all the people in the back can all fit into the Capitol building. Like, how much space is in there?
Okay, well, but I'm saying, like, the actual violence that occurred, so then this goes back
Love
to
the topic.
my whole thing about it not
Thank
being
you,
looked
Tula.
at
Don't nod
honestly.
off.
And so, like, we can't even, like, talk about it honestly because, the media talks about cherry picking the footage from that day, yet that's all they did, and they never showed the footage of the Capitol Police removing barricades.
We're not even at that part yet. I just want to establish when Trump sent the people down to the Capitol, what do we think he's sending them there for?
Well, let's just look at the.
We're gonna stop the steal.
Look at the number of people who were completely peaceful, and that suggests that everybody was on the same page.
We're gonna stop the steal and hang
Except
Mike
for the
Pence.
2,000 people
Hang
that
Mike
broke in.
Pence.
No, 2,000 people didn't break in. There
420.
Or
At
2,000
the
people were
most,
illegally trespassing inside the Capitol, I think.
Right, so you could say illegally trespassing. I mean, when you're looking at trespassing laws, just so you
You're
know,
there.
like, it is a thing.
You're
To be trespassed from a public space, you have to be first notified that you've been trespassed. Then refuse to leave. And you're, they would have had to do that with each person. Like, I get that
I'm
they're
a dude
getting,
that
they were trespassing,
right.
they're getting charged with that.
I'm
They're
a
getting the book thrown at them. I get that. But I'm just saying that
No, I'm not gonna
most
do
of
that.
the
I said
people that were
that.
just walking in, they were either let in or walked in. There was at the most around 600 people. I'll give you that were violent or breaking into
Is it
windows and that
the
sort of thing.
BGD?
So you got about 600 people out of more than 120,000.
That's just right.
And to me, that doesn't. First of all, they weren't. And this
Oh,
goes back, we have to go back to
hey,
the video and everything, but the people
ho.
weren't initially being violent. There were things that happened.
We're not yet.
that
We're not
seemed
even
to
at
spur
that.
it.
Sure.
Right. But you're talking about Trump got them to do it, and Trump sent them to do that, but that's not what they were doing.
That maybe not
They
all
were
of them
just
did do that.
protesting.
That's fine. I'm just trying to figure out what do we think Trump sent them down there to do? Why do you think they
I
were going to
think-
protest? What were they protesting?
What they thought was a stolen. They believed the election was stolen.
Thank you. Yes.
Just
so
like-
they were there
right,
to
and-
protest. Don't say just like Hillary Obama or Pivot. They were down there to protest a stolen election.
There you
They
go.
thought that it was being stolen from them, so they were
Yes.
trying to delay the
Right.
certification of the
Yeah,
vote
yes.
because they thought it was a
I don't
stolen
know.
election.
Well, you saying, you're just implanting thoughts and motivations to thousands of people. I don't think that that's why they were going there. I think they were going there to protest and to pressure Republicans who were going to certify the vote to not certify.
That you just said. Thank you. I agree. Okay, so we agree that the protesters were there to get the
To pressure.
Republicans to not certify the vote. Thank you. Okay,
Sure,
that's
absolutely.
fine. So we're on the same
I
page.
don't think that's an I don't think that's an insurrection. I don't even think it's against the law. I mean, again, I've watched Democrats do that every election they've lost since 2000. So
Okay, you haven't. But so okay, so they go down there to protest because they don't want Republicans to certify the vote. Okay, so that's a big part, number one, of what Trump sent them down there to do. Okay, he knew people in crowded weapons. He knew that he told them the election was rigged, and he wanted them to go down there and protest and fight like hell to take your country back. Yeah. Okay.
Fight like hell.
the weapons thing.
You're gonna
right?
fight
There were a
like
couple
hell and
people that had handguns.
stop
Nobody
the
used it.
steal.
There was no flagpoles were the most numerous weapon, I believe, if you want to call that a weapon.
It is a weapon.
That's fine. I'm just
Let me
saying
hit you with the
something
flagpole and you tell me if you think it's a weapon, dude.
To go and protest anywhere.
Let me hit you with the flagpole and you tell me.
I don't
I'll
know
do
what
it.
that means. I mean, yeah,
Give me a
okay,
flagpole,
so some people
stand in
have,
front of me, and I'll smack you in the head with it, and we'll see if you think it's a weapon or not. Perfect, perfect test of my theory.
You're saying that, like, oh, he knows that some people are going to have guns and that he expected them to go there and use them?
I don't know if he knew they were going to use them or not. He just knew he was
I
sending his
gotta
protesters
stop
down
the
there to
steal.
protest the certification.
Don't you think this is, like, so much speculation, though?
What-
So
wait,
much.
wait,
Is
what
that
did I
science,
just
bro?
say that was speculation?
Don't you think that's so much speculation?
I didn't
Is that
tell you
science?
just thought they were going to use weapons. I said, here's what I just said. Clearly,
Is that your
very,
science,
very
bro?
clear. I said three things. I said, he told people
12:30,
the
that
election
is when I
was
dab.
the machines had been rigged. He told people
12:40 is
to go
when
down
I
and fight
dab
like a
my
country back, pressure them
dabs
to do the right thing, and he knew
that
people
I'm
in the crowd
doing.
sitting there had weapons. That's all I said. I didn't say he knew they were going to use them. I'm not
that last
speculating at
part.
all. That's not
Right,
speculation.
yeah.
No, it's just a fact. It's a fact of the matter. It makes you uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact of
It's
what
like
happened.
saying he knows a couple of the people in the crowd might be in nut jobs. Like, okay, you could take any group of people, anytime, anywhere, and you're gonna have the exact same thing. Like, I don't know how that proves anything.
I didn't say. I just said those 3 facts. Okay, we can talk about other.
Okay,
facts.
all right, sure.
So that was So that was one part of him sending people down. Okay. The second part, what I think is one of the most important parts that makes this an attempted coup or insurrection, doesn't even necessarily involve the crowd. It was President Trump trying to encourage Pence to unilaterally throw out the votes, to unilaterally throw out the Electoral College votes, to throw it to the House of Representatives to get them to vote to make Trump the president. I think that was anti-democratic, and that was an attempted coup.
Sure, it was anti-democratic. I would not
Okay,
say
cheers,
it was attempted coup
everybody.
because Didn't the
The
vice
Laura
president
Gunny
at the
Games?
time have the ability to do that?
No.
Happy New Year.
And didn't they just recently, or right after the election, pass a law to make sure they couldn't? I'm not 100%
They
on this one,
clarified some of the language, but no, the vice president absolutely did not have the power to unilaterally throw out the votes.
Okay. Well, I mean, even if
Hold on. How much do you know about the Ray Epps stuff?
A lot.
Do you know who Mike Eastman is?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. How do you know so much about Ray Epps, but you haven't heard about the main legal guy that's feeding Trump the bogus legal theory that he tried to use to get our election thrown out? Isn't that kind of a weird, like, I guess, area of focus? Like, wouldn't this? I can understand you. Hold on, I'm not doing anything. We can get into the Ray Epps stuff next. We will. But I'm just saying, like, it's kind of strange to me that, like, we're not even aware at all of what Trump tried to do to get the election literally thrown out, but we're so aware of like all these other things. Oh, okay. Well, then you would have known that Pence does not have the ability. The vice president does not have the ability to unilaterally throw out an election. That is not something given to the vice president.
Okay, well, and he didn't, right? And even if he would have tried, there would have been challenges that would have played out in court, correct?
Possibly, yeah. But do you agree that if Trump asked him that would be an attempted coup or insurrection?
I don't know if that's an attempted coup. I would say maybe. I think
president of
asking the vice president to break the law.
You can explain, yeah. If the president of the United States
overthrow an
told the
election,
vice president, hey, can you
break
throw
the
out
law,
the people's vote for who should be president and make me president? You don't think that's an attempted coup? What would you call that?
Well, first of all, I have to look at it. I know I'm that's hypocritical having criticized you for the exact same thing. But
was it Maine that just removed Trump from the?
I think that throwing
Maine.
anything against the wall to try and keep the election in his favor, which is what he's trying to do.
Colorado first,
is different from actually attempting to carry out a coup. I mean, he didn't actually. What you're saying is he asked Pence, "Can you do this?"
Yes.
Okay,
Not just that. Also, then he said it in his speech when he sent the Capitol people to go riot at the White House, and then he tweeted it in the middle of the invasion of the Capitol building that Pence needs to do what's right or whatever. And then people in the crowd were screaming, hang Pence," or whatever, and they had a little gallows or whatever bullshit. Yeah, all of
Mike
that.
Pence, they were saying.
So if that's not an attempted coup or insurrection or whatever, what would you call that?
Well, I would definitely call it an escalation compared to what Democrats had done up to that point. I would say that.
Democrats. I'm asking you, what would you call it if the president of the United States is telling the vice president, throw out the vote and make me leader instead?
Yeah.
Okay, undemocratic.
I think it was undemocratic.
Okay, what do we call undemocratic attempts to entrench your power as leader of a country against the democratic will of the people in a democratic system? Would this not just be a coup? Isn't that a coup?
All right, so this brings us back to my original thing of we have to have a agreed upon set of standards here. And okay, I would agree. Fine, we'll say that's a coup. But then the same point, based on those standards that we're now agreeing it's a coup, I would say what the FBI and what Hillary Clinton did in 2016 was an attempted coup.
What part of I'll entertain this for a second. Okay. What part of what Hillary, which one do you want to focus on first? Hillary or the FBI?
Well, it was a scheme carried out by both. I would say they were cohorts.
What part of this was an attempted coup? What made it a coup?
Well, so we know that
Maddox going to $1, guys.
Was talking about, don't worry about if Trump gets elected. We have an
that's huge,
right?
Okay.
And then Peter Strzok just magically and so we also know from the IG report that came out
looking good
about this that
4%, almost 4%.
Knew that Hillary Clinton
was 24 hours.
Was trying to hatch this Russian collusion scheme to use against Trump. And
Hey,
knowing
Deer
that,
Slayer,
they
what's
still
up? Cheers.
Went along with it when she disseminated it out to the media, or I'm sorry, she gave it to the FBI. FBI leaked it to the media. Comey did, remember? And so that began that whole thing. Peter Strzok, then, who was the lead investigator against Hillary and got her off the hook, is now suddenly the lead investigator against Donald Trump. Okay, and so the entire point of that was clearly to, one, delegitimize the election and overturn it. What else was there? Were they trying to do this?
Dollar Polygon Matic, guys.
You don't think that was a coup?
All day. It's the first time it's hit. Let's see.
All of that.
Do you think it's
they spied?
It got up
they
to
legitimately thought that collusion could have been
$1.
possible? Or do you think that's totally outlandish?
Almost $1.09.
The FBI knew. We know that
it was
they knew that the information within the
$1.879
dossier that Hillary had was uncorroborated and
on the
came from
27th.
Russian,
So
disinformation
this is
sources.
great,
They
man.
knew
It's been
that.
down for days.
That's not
It's
what I
just
asked.
come back up.
What I asked was, do you think it's possible that people that worked at the FBI or that were in Hillary's campaign at the time thought that that was a possibility, that there was
Wow,
collusion?
guys.
No.
Okay, there was no way with people like Manafort getting prison for huge stuff, colluding and doing weird shit in Ukraine and the fucking lecture. Like with any of these other people around him, there was no chance that Trump himself, with Trump making the statement on TV, if Russia finds these emails, it'll be. There's no chance that anybody thought that like, damn, maybe this guy does have some shady connections. That weird meeting that happened at the Trump building with like the 4 or 5 people, like. None of that.
Well, this is like, it's a plausible deniability kind of a situation. Like, all I know is that it turned out to be BS, and it was there's all kinds of funny business around the introduction of it in the first place. And to me, that was I thought it was an attempted coup when it was going on. Like, so yeah, we don't have this agreed upon standard of coup, and if we're going to say that what Trump did was a coup, then I think
Celsius
that was a coup.
hadn't stolen my Matic, I'd have $32,000 worth of Matic right now.
I would argue for the Trump coup,
but I don't.
Is that one, it came from the president of the United States, which I think is really significant, and two, he knew that all of this was bullshit the entire time, and
well,
three,
you don't know that. Nobody knows that.
We pretty much know that, and we're definitely going to find out as the federal case against him begins to go.
What are they gonna read his mind?
How do you think any criminal investigation and conviction ever works? You understand that for every criminal conviction, there is a mens rea, a state of mind necessary to commit a crime, right? You do know that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So when you say, how do you ascertain somebody's state of mind? We do this every single day in the United States criminal court system. So I don't know why you think it's
I got
exceptional.
2,440 Matic.
Try to ascertain somebody's state of mind prior to them committing an act.
In my offline wallet.
Right, but
and didn't you just confidently tell me that you know 100% the state of mind of Strzok and Hillary Clinton, that they absolutely knew that they were lying the entire time? So you know that 100%, but you can't even guess Trump's state of mind? Isn't that kind of weird?
Right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's double standards, and we can't even agree on what the standards are.
I don't think I'm having any trouble agreeing on what the standards are.
Well, no, you have your standard, right? And you don't really care. You don't care if Democrats set these standards in the first place and aren't being held to, like, for instance, let me just give you an example. So those riots that occurred all those years, all of those, I mean, except for you can argue the George Floyd ones, were based on lies. The Democrats and media literally spread lies, got these riots to erupt, incited them, caused death and destruction. To me, they did it because they were mad about losing the election. But nobody ever paid a price for that. Nobody was ever charged with anything, with inciting riots.
Did anybody get charged with inciting a riot on the J6 stuff?
Well, isn't that what this is about? That Donald Trump incited
Celsius
the riot?
is lame.
I thought Donald Trump's charges on the Jack Smith case were like obstruction.
Celsius
and stuff.
fucked me.
I don't think any of it has to do with incitement.
Fucking Celsius.
Well,
big drop on Bitcoin.
These getting him removed from the ballot in Maine and Colorado, they're basically saying that he's guilty of insurrection, right?
Correct. But we don't have like a criminal, but that's like a 14th Amendment thing. There's like a different thing for
right.
that.
Well, I know.
But the insurrection here doesn't necessarily what?
No, it's just very convenient to me that your political opponents can basically accuse you of something without being charged or convicted, and thus it is. And so his political opponents can now remove him from the ballot.
Well, I mean, that's
again
probably,
a standard. I don't think the standard would be entertained for a second if it were Trump and Republicans trying it.
I mean, I don't know why you would think that when what we're talking about here is an amendment that was literally passed after the Civil War to prevent people from taking office if they'd broken an oath, which I think is pretty reasonable. Whereas the Eastman legal theory that Donald Trump was using to unilaterally throw out the election, I don't know if they was willing to pursue that. I don't know why you think Trump wouldn't also pursue this. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The Trump pursuit of Vice President Pence to throw out the election is way more radical than this interpretation of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think Trump would absolutely pursue that if he thought he could. Like, wasn't Trump literally chanting "lock her up, lock her up, lock her up," like telling the FBI to lock up Hillary Clinton? Like,
yeah, but it wasn't Donald Trump's DOJ doing it. I mean, it's a little different, I think.
Sure, I'm just saying that, like, well, but it was Donald Trump's FBI and DOJ and the special prosecutor Mueller.
Donald Trump's FBI?
When he was in office, right? Weren't a lot of these investigations happening and shit while he was in office?
The Hillary Clinton one was Barack Obama's DOJ, wasn't it?
No, I'm at for the Russia collusion stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Trump definitely wasn't very good at appointing people because, I mean, there's all kinds of questionable crap that Ray has done and said. So, I mean, the fact that he's a Republican doesn't really mean anything to me.
Of course.
Tula's like, who's going to be our next president?
Well, nothing, because you guys say right to everybody that, like, every single person around Trump, all of his cabinet, all of his advisors, everybody in the White House, Mark Meadows,
Donald
all of the people
Trump
in his election campaign,
looks
every
like
lawyer
he's
team.
set
Now, apparently
to
all of them are
become the
states.
next
Isn't that
president.
don't you think at some point, like, instead of
right,
saying
if
every
the
single
election
person
was
around Trump is
today, Trump would win.
Driven and all these, isn't it easier to say that Trump is like an incompetent
But we
loser
have
trying
to
to
see
hold
what
on power in the
happens.
United States? Like,
He's definitely, yeah. I mean, I would agree with the incompetence thing 100%.
And want to be dictator? Like, doesn't that explain every single action? That he's trying to hold on to power at all cost.
I'm watching this waterfall, man.
Well, they all do that. I mean, the Democrats, every election they've lost, they've tried to hold on at all costs.
Okay, why did Hillary Clinton concede then? Why didn't she say, I'm not conceding until the Russia collusion probe finishes? Why didn't Gore throw out the votes from Florida over the hanging Chad stuff in 2000?
Well, that's why I said that Trump escalated it. But it was also the first time Republicans have denied election results. But it was an escalation for sure.
An escalation of
election denial.
I don't know if subverting the actual process is an escalation of just people in the media, sulking about like, oh, Russia helped him.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about that. No, Democrats actively tried to get Florida votes decertified in 2000. They tried to get Ohio decertified in 2005, and in 2016, I believe they tried to get something decertified. I have to look that up.
Sure, they tried in Florida, and it went through the courts, and then they gave up.
Right.
Trump is not going to.
Trump just suggested things. Like, it didn't even get to the court process.
Well,
so
he lost it.
I agree.
When you say Trump just suggested things, he was trying to suggest to his vice president to make him the president, subverting the vote that he lost.
You like that better?
That's not just suggesting things. That's an attempt.
I lowered their voices and turned up the water.
There was no attempt, though. I mean,
there was.
It's like we're just sitting at the creek, just listening to a conversation.
Did it go past the question?
What do you mean, did it go? Wait, so question. Is it only a coup if it works? And then if it's not, what do you call it?
Well, no, there was not an attempt. It was a question asked.
It wasn't a question. He was like telling him.
Oh, 12% is the current return on your Bitcoin. Thank you. Oh, for that. You're welcome. I thought it was because I turned the sound up on the
he was
creek.
tweeting out like Pence needs to do the right thing, which was throw out the
I
vote and
remember
make
that.
me.
Jesse looks like he's balding probably from his breakup.
So it went nowhere.
Perfect balance, Tula. Hell yeah.
The
Thank you.
But Trump attempted to get him to
like
coup
when you
the
talk
government.
about Russian, right? But when you talk about like the Russian collusion thing, that was actually in action, actually taking place. So it went way beyond a hypothetical question.
But the process for that is, it's way easier to give you 50 other scenarios, or even just one, where people legitimately thought Russia collusion existed. That's way more believable.
Legitimately thought.
That's way more believable than Trump thinking that, like, election machines and ballot boxes and all these other crazy things they were saying were rigged. And then
right.
Pence could make him the dictator.
Losing every single case.
See, when you say that, though, when you're like, when
fake
he
electors.
Says it's crazy thing when Trump says that
Samoan for 30 years now that he wants to run for president, he had to reveal the truth. Born in Hayward, California, already a liar before even running. Wow, Billy, that's crazy.
Have you seen that video? Are you aware of that? There's a mashup of like 10 minutes of it.
You can throw it to me if you want, but again, Barr went through the Dominion machines. I believe the DOJ, authored by Barr, literally made a statement saying, "Hey, we investigated these machines. They're fine." That's his own DOJ. That's his own Attorney General And that's his own intelligence analyzing these machines. He had no reason to believe any of these machines were rigged. Everybody in his campaign was telling him the exact same thing.
Right. Yeah, and I've heard that every single person was telling the same thing. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but if I'm Donald Trump, right, and I'm aware the Democrats when I was elected spent all this time saying the election was stolen and the voting machines were hacked and all this, why would he not think that he could then do the exact same thing in response?
Because the Democrats didn't try to subvert the election process.
Like
Donald Trump was saying mail-in voting was rigged years before we even had mail-in voting.
Like Hillary Clinton literally, just like last year, said that the 2024 election was going to be stolen by Donald Trump and Republicans.
How?
She just, I don't know. She.
What did she say?
What
was her statement? Was she talking about this? Because this would be stealing the election. Yes, telling the vice president to unilaterally,
She said Donald Trump and Republicans. She said Donald Trump and Republicans literally have a plan to steal the next election. Okay, here I got this. I'll just sing for you here real quick. This one's 20 minutes long. It's even longer, but again, my point is you were talking about state of mind, right? And I'm trying to explain what Trump's state of mind, and probably a lot of ours at the time was. And you got to understand that we sit here and witness all these things happen up to this point.
Bad Blue Draws, what's up, bro? Man, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for that. I so much appreciate that. Hey, man.
Suddenly it's this big
Hillary Clinton
insurrection.
here's her statement, because I'm looking for the source of this, I'm curious. Hillary Clinton has claimed Republicans already have a plan to steal the 2024 election, the latest in a series of wild charges by the former First Lady, Senator from New York, and Secretary of State. She says, quote, right-wing extremists already have a plan to literally steal the next presidential election, and they're not making a secret of it. The right-wing controlled Supreme Court may be poised to rule on giving state legislatures the power to overturn presidential elections, she adds, referring to a case for the High Court involving the invalidation of North Carolina's congressional map by a state court.
But we got to take, I don't know, I can send you another clip of Hillary. Literally, you got to take it in the context that Hillary Clinton has, going back to the year 2000, or I'm sorry, 2001.
Even when I look at like the more quotes on he knows he's an illegitimate president. I know you guys bring this one up a lot. I believe he understands that the many varying tactics they used, from voter suppression and voter purging to hacking to the false stories, he knows that there were just a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out like it did. Now, I might not like her use of illegitimate president here. I think it's a dumb term. But clearly she's talking about something different than saying, like, voter boxes or ballot boxes.
She said hacking.
Yeah, her campaign
she said hacking. You literally just read it.
Her campaign was hacked. Do you remember the election?
Right. Yeah, I do. Do you remember what was hacked, by the way? I always ask people this.
Wasn't it like all the Podesta emails and all that bullshit that came out of the DNC and everything?
Right. It basically showed that the media and the Hillary campaign were coordinating.
That's great. Pivot. But what she said was true then. Her campaign was hacked. So I don't know why you're... Yeah. So what she was saying was true. You just proved that it was true. So she's making true statements. Is this at all comparable to Donald Trump saying ballot boxes were stuffed? We just found 200,000 dead voters in Pennsylvania or all the... Do you think these are comparable statements?
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are comparable. Absolutely. And Hillary Clinton...
Wait. So to be clear, Hillary Clinton's statement is true. The Republican statements are... waiting for more info? How do you think these are comparable statements?
They are literally saying the exact same things. You're just saying that when Hillary did it, it's legitimate, and when her opponents do it, it's not.
Well, because there's an underlying fact of the matter. Hillary Clinton's campaign was hacked. Donald Trump's campaign has not produced any evidence that votes were rigged. Correct or not correct?
When you say the hacked... Right, but the Democrats still said that the voting machines were hacked at the time, is what I'm saying. That was an overall narrative at the time. So when the
that might be a different
there,
narrative. Okay, that might be a different thing that's been said. So that wasn't part of Hillary Clinton. I'd be curious when you're saying there were hacked, the voting machines were hacked.
Her party, her supporters, she's echoing the things they're saying. I mean, it's interesting to me how you guys want to get in there and parse everything when it's your side or whatever. I'm willing to give up, concede some things here, but like
To
you're
be
not
clear,
at all.
hold on.
Like,
You haven't conceded even the most basic points. Number
I
one.
did.
And number
I conceded that Trump is ignorant. I conceded
No,
that Trump,
conceded
what
that Trump
did was
is
anti-democratic.
No, anti-democratic and ignorant are weak claims. The reality is that he attempted to coup the government, and that's like plainly obvious.
Okay, yeah, I cannot agree on that based on the standard that we've already set. So
Then what do you think is what do you think is a coup? You define a coup.
Right, it's you're usurping the election and the government. You're taking power against the wishes of the country, of the democratic vote. But
how is what he asked Pence to do not an attempted coup?
Right, but you just said it again. He asked Pence to do it.
That's why it's an attempt.
Okay, but what Democrats, the FBI, and Hillary Clinton did was an actual attempt that actually went forward.
I don't think investigating somebody for something is the same as saying we need to throw out the election results.
But that was the whole point. The whole point was to say that Trump was a Russian agent, he stole the election with Russia's help, and he's not legitimate.
Let's say that I grant you all of that. If that was the whole point, then why did it fail?
Well,
if all of this is controlled by the deep state, if all the evidence is faked, if all of the evidence is made up and all these people are biased and all this horrible shit happens, why did we get things like the Durham report? Why were Republicans in the House able to review and investigate and allege and show pretty truthfully that the FBI had issues relating to political bias? There was a guy that was literally convicted for faking information on a FICE warrant. Why did all of this happen if it's all controlled by the deep state and all of it is illegitimate and all of it is highly biased and all of it was an attempted coup? How did it fail?
Well, look at it like a drive-by, okay? They sped by, they did their damage, and then they were gone. So, I mean...
They did their damage. Trump was president for his whole term. What was the damage done?
Sure. He did get in... Sure, okay. Yeah, he did, but you won't... I mean, you're not going to admit that they were trying and everything they could possibly do to get rid of the guy?
I think that's possible. They're trying this investigation, but my question was, don't you think it's possible they thought there was some actual collusion here? Is that not possible?
Hold on, real quick. Yeah, okay, well, I'll answer that, but 1 second. Do you remember, literally from the day before he took office, they started talking impeachment, and the narrative that the walls were closing in and soon we were going to be rid of Donald Trump was, like, that drumbeat was pumped out daily for years.
Okay.
So that was clearly their intention, was to get him out of the office.
I mean, if they really thought that he did Russia collusion, yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we really think the election was stolen.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying I do.
We really think the election. We
there's a
really think the
difference on
election was
speculative
stolen.
claims, right?
Okay, well,
the
Just
stolen
added
election
himself, that's so
narrative
funny.
was tried and failed in every single court where it was brought up. There's no reason that Donald Trump should have thought the election was stolen. Nobody near him was saying that. Nobody near him was agreeing with him on that. He knew that he lost the election.
Yeah, I will say this, that while I don't necessarily agree with the stolen narrative, I definitely agree with the rigged narrative. I definitely think the election in a lot of ways was rigged, and I would say most of all would be the fact that Joe Biden and the other guy, I can't think of his name, they hatched that plan, they emailed all these
thank you,
intelligence
Bad
experts
Blue
and
Jaws,
you
thank
guys
you.
to come in and defend us and back us up on these stories coming out about Hunter. They did, they lied. It was used as justification to suppress real news that was damaging to Biden, and you know, I don't know if that helped to sway the election in his favor. Maybe it did, but that's a pretty big interference in the election, in my
Wasn't
opinion.
that story wasn't that story suppressed for literally 24 hours before they allowed it back on Twitter?
I'm not sure how long it was. I remember the New York
Wasn't
Post.
it like one day?
But, no, it was actually several days that narrative continued despite the story being allowed back on social media. The narrative that it was Russian disinfo continued.
What do you think was more damaging to the electoral chances? Do you think it was that New York Post thing getting censored for I say censored, getting the Twitter decided to delist it for 1 day? Well, there's no proof that anybody in the White House ever made a request to censor that story.
Drum sound is sickening.
They did 100% coordinate the intelligence experts.
No, they didn't.
Joe Biden literally started. Joe Biden and let me find this real quick.
I literally talked to the people that did these Twitter files. That's all bullshit. None of this is true.
Thank you, Psycho Babble. Thank you so much. So nice of you. Hell yeah, Bad Blue Jaws. Cheers.
Emails that went out to these intelligence experts about this.
There were emails went out saying to be on the lookout for some attempted disinformation campaigns. Sure. But Joe Biden wasn't even in the White House at the time that this happened, so it would be impossible.
Right, he was running.
Sure.
He was running.
Yes, but this was Trump's White House. This was Trump's intelligence agencies. This was Trump's FBI. This was Trump's DOJ.
Well, these weren't. No, these were former intel agents.
Former intel agents were sending emails
Clicks.
to
It
look
was-
out. I thought, wasn't this our current
Right.
intelligence was saying that
So-
there could be Russian disinformation
No.
on the way?
No, it was literally Joe Biden and.
So they've just gone way off the track there, but it was interesting for a little bit. He just didn't really have a lot on Ray Epps. It's weird. Some weird conspiracy dude, man. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll probably be back for another show or something. Turn on your Rumble. Make sure you guys are all following along on Rumble. That's kind of chill if you do that, you know? So, consider it, and looks like one of my channels might be down here. Let me see what's up with that really quick. Which channel's down, man? Streaming. These all say streaming. What about up here? They all say streaming. So why does it say 13 out of 14? That's weird, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Huh. Alright. 16 channels. Hashtag keep it open. Enjoying the outdoors. Hell yeah, hippie chick, right on. Right on. I think I'm gonna go do some things. Gonna go hang out with my mom and my sister for a little bit. You guys, thanks so much for listening, and I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next show. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.